Good afternoon. This is Media Center, Ukraine, Odesa. We continue to work today. Our current guest is Olena Buynevych, Director of the Department of Education and Science of Odesa City Council. What are the results of the academic year and what do you expect from the next year? I would like to welcome our audience. Finally, we've finished one of the most difficult academic years in our news history, and I would like to welcome our children, students, parents that finally we are on summer holidays. It was a very difficult year, and there were different educational forms, mainly remotely, online, but throughout the year, and more of our students switched to offline format. At the end, we had 10%, and by the end of the academic years, we were able to achieve the 30% level of offline format. This year it was important for our children to ensure possibility of them to study offline. If to compare the beginning of the full-scale invasion and the current situation, the number of bomb shelters in educational institutions has increased by 60% from zero level because we had non-bomb shelters, and more than 100 offline schools are open today. So we could also announce what we can expect from the next academic year. Some of our children have left abroad. Those who are outside Odessa or outside Ukraine can continue learning in our educational institution in the online format. We've heard a lot of fakes that those who cannot join the educational process offline will be excluded from the educational lists, but I would like to assure the parents that without your application, the children cannot be kicked out of the school. We can see that the individual programs are very popular, but we would like to create groups, and it is very important to find teachers who can teach individually. And these are children who now reside in countries where it is a requirement to attend local schools there. For us, it is important, actually, for our children to continue learning at our schools, but of course, they need to meet the requirements of the foreign legislation. That's why some children have to study both in our schools and in foreign schools. Some of the children temporarily left our schools, and we've got the requests from parents, and it is very important to ensure a possibility for such children to come back to Ukraine, to their schools, when the war is over. There were also fake news that these children will be deprived of this possibility in the next year, but this is not true. If the children will be accepted by their schools. But they will need to pass tests for those subjects that were not taught abroad, like Ukrainian language, Ukrainian histories. So the main subjects which are different from the foreign curricula. That's why I would like to advise parents to use the official website of the Ministry of Education and Science, where we have uploaded information and all the lessons and classes of Ukrainian language, of Ukrainian history. And we ask you just to follow those videos. We have several types of educational institutions, and the schools have now to inform parents about the formats they can offer. If you want to learn offline and there is a bomb shelter in your school, you will be able to attend the school. If you want to learn offline but there is no bomb shelter, so you will be referred to the schools that have such bomb shelters. More than 150 million hryvnias have been allocated to equip bomb shelters this year. We are going to equip plus 60 shelters by the 1st of September this year and plus 30 by the 1st of November. Parents ask us why this process is so long. Sometimes the equipping of bomb shelters requires significant engineering work. For example, when the ceilings are not high enough, where there are problems with the floors, there are some technological issues that we cannot expedite. But the budget has been allocated, and the bomb shelters shall be equipped using the municipal budgets, but the funds are there. And it is also planned to add 70 million hryvnias more by the decision of the next municipal council meeting. If children want to learn online, if there will be enough children, there will be special online classes. According to the survey, 70% of parents opt for offline format, and it is our task now to equip the proper amount of BEP shelters. We understand by the 1st of September the amount can be changed depending on the situation in the city, and perhaps we will see less children on the 1st of September, and on the 1st of October the number will increase, but that was during the previous academic year, and we are ready to this. If there are 3-4 children who want to study online, we will create a special class in between different schools using the territorial educational bodies. Parents have a lot of questions about the second shift, but let's think logically. Around 1,500, 2,000 people can study at school, but bomb shelters can accommodate around 500 children. And only that number of children can learn at school that can be accommodated by the bomb shelter. It is impossible to do otherwise. That's why we will organize several shifts. But we had several shifts even before the full-scale invasion, so I think we will cope with that. We should also be ready that the main subjects will be taught online, offline, when the teacher contact is required. For example, art and other subjects that can be taught online without losses in quality could be taught online, and such subjects as Ukrainian language, history, chemistry, math, physics will be taught offline if parents want this. The biggest issue now with kindergartens and nurseries, usually there are around 300 children who can attend there, but bomb shelters have only like up to 60 places for children. That's why now we have a decision to provide services of kindergartens for military families, for IDPs. But this is now the question, can we offer kindergarten services to the children whose parents work? Of course not, but now we need to provide such services to those children, to those parents who have no one else to take care about their children. And we cannot offer 2 shifts in kindergarten. That's why the number of places in kindergartens will be significantly less than de facto in the institution. But every week we open new kindergartens with bomb shelters. We would like to ask those parents who work and also the parents whose family members fight at the front line to apply to kindergartens despite the online or offline format, and we will be able to provide places to such children in kindergartens with bomb shelters. Now the heads of educational institutions will invite active parents who want to be involved in the process. I don't want to call this process as control, because we have too many controlling bodies at the moment. we have them even more controlling than really work. But I would like to invite parents to participate in monitoring the process of equipping bomb shelters. There are several institutions who got donations from parents who brought blankets, who brought facilities for a water closet to speed up the process, and we would like to thank parents for their support, like it was in Lyceum number 15. It would be great if parents could monitor the process. But of course, we need time to meet all the requirements to the bomb shelters to ensure safety and security for our children. We have a lot of applications about the differences in bomb shelters and shelter. We need to understand that there are bomb shelters in our educational institutions, but only 4 of them, including 2 of that were constructed during Soviet times, and 2 that anti-radiation shelters that can be also regarded as bomb shelters according to their conditions. Other facilities can be called shelters that can be used as a shelter in case of air raid alert. Not all basements in schools can be used as shelters. We have a lot of questions about why some schools have big basements, but nothing is done there. And those basements that could be turned into shelters will be turned into shelters. But unfortunately, we have schools, quite big schools. For example, in Peresevsky Rayon, school 2217. So these are 2 big schools for 4,000 children, but there is no bomb shelter, no shelter there. There are small basements, they are not high, and there is no possibility to deepen them because there's the water under the buildings. We cannot change these geographical peculiarities of quite a big district, or rayon, as they call it in Ukraine. Sometimes there are groundwaters, catacombs, unstable soils where we cannot organize shelters. Of course, we have been considering the issue of modular shelters. We can see examples of small shelters that have been installed in Kherson, and we have tried this for in one of schools, but this is small, and so there is no sense in using such small shelters for big schools. And now we are going to start tender proceedings to install 3 modular shelters in 3 schools. And if this pilot project is successful, it could be scaled up for other educational institutions. That's why please understand us when we propose to use the building of other school. You will have your classes, your teachers, but this just be in those schools that have bomb shelters, if your school doesn't have any. Why the question about shifts? Their requirements of the special service. 2 shifts is according to our law, but there are some exclusions. The primary school is an exclusion. Such small children should learn at first shift. We cannot use big auditorium for children of first, second, and third grades. And the 5th grade also on the first shift. The 9th and 11th grades should also be on the first shift according to our recommendation, because they will need to pass testing. But if your child is at the 8th grade, it's okay if your child was invited to learn on the 2nd shift. If you have any additional questions, I will be more pleased to answer them. So invited for the 2nd shift, it sounds like the person, like a child, was invited to a police office. Yes, but they have a choice. They can opt for online format. The question about kindergartens, you say that there is a growing trend in opening kindergartens. Last week, single mother with a small child addressed to me. She has no official job, and when she wanted to find a kindergarten, she was hinted that she should pay a bribe. So I'm not asking you now to arrest those who are involved in this, because this was only a hint, not an open proposal. But the question is, how many there are places in kindergartens, and how many more we're going to get during summer. Let's start with one of your questions. If you look what was published in mass media and social media, and there was kind of an action activity, and Alexia Solenka was involved in this, when we offered a free place for families, for mothers who are ready to apply to the relevant department and the police. And we offered this as a pilot project to understand at what stage mothers are required or offered to pay bribes. If a mother does not work officially, she does not pay direct taxes. Yes, but she pays indirect taxes. Yeah, but this is a very complex problem, and this is not the topic of our today's discussion. Kindergarten is quite a significant material burden for parents. It could be up to 1,000 hryvnias or 1,200 hryvnias. These are also the fees that should be that are paid by parents, and this is a burden on the budget because we need to pay salary to nurses in kindergartens to cover food, etc. And we should speak about proportion who work officially and pay official taxes, and those who work unofficially and do not pay taxes. But I'm not going to blame anyone for that. It is not the problem of these people that they cannot find official jobs. But there is now a trend to provide places in kindergartens to those people who are ready to prove officially that they have official work. And now you're actually blaming people that do not work officially, that do not pay taxes. I would like to emphasize once again that this is not the fault of their people, because now I can see manipulation from your side. And I'm not going to blame anyone. I can say that this is not the fault of the people who are in such conditions. We can organize a separate discussion for this topic. This is quite interesting. The municipal budget received the market fee. The market fee is paid by the people who unofficially rent the places at markets. So if she works at some market and sells some food or clothes, then she also provides revenue to the budget. But the budget, municipal budget, is not used not only for kindergartens. There are other expenditures. If mother is planning to start working, then we are ready to receive certificates not only from the state enterprises. This can be the individual entrepreneur. For example, all documents that prove that a person works. If this the proof from the owner of some facility, it is enough. But let's come back to our topic. We have around 300 children for one kindergarten, but kindergarten can provide for shelters only for 55 persons. Can you offer some other democratic way to select children for kindergartens? It was offered, for example, to make it kind of a queue. Those who arrived the first could attend kindergarten. But how can we define those people who are in more need to send their children to kindergarten? Of course, we can take a child of a person from an unemployed parent if there is a free place. But my question is not about the selection process, but my question is about how many places there are in kindergartens and how many are you going to open during summer. We have 4,500 places in kindergartens. Almost all of them are already occupied, and every week we try to open other kindergartens, this plus 55 every week, and we are going actually to open 27 to 30 more kindergartens during summer. Some kindergartens have shelters for 100 children, but we can expect around 1,500 more. So now we have around 5,500, and you are going to add 1,500 more. Do you have information about the need? How many preschool children there in Odesa and how many of them need kindergarten? Let's speak about the number that we already have registered. This is 22,000 children, and minus those who have places in kindergartens, minus 10,000 who have left Odesa. They do not need kindergartens now, and we will have around 10,000 families who should wait till the end of the war to be able to send their children to kindergarten. I would like to ask our team to check the questions in our Telegram channel. No questions. Not to deepen our discussion about budget and taxes. It should be better about education. Thank you very much for the information you've shared. Thank you very much for being here with us. We hope to see you here soon with more positive information about kindergartens. And I think that we will get good news only after our victory, and only after the end of hostilities. Because if we cannot organize shelters in those kindergartens when it is impossible. And there is one more important issue. I would like to thank representatives of business and other institutions who provide places that they have, like parkings, underground parkings near kindergartens. We conclude agreements with them. So there is now requirement to open door of our shelters during air alerts. There are potential risks because children will be at risk if other people will join them in shelters. But there is also the question of parkings and the premises of residential complexes, and we, if there is a kindergarten near such parkings, so please open such parkings for the children in kindergartens. A clarifying question: if an air alert starts, and if I'm near a school, and once I face that, I can get theoretically to shelters of those schools. And not only theoretically, but practically, there should be access both day and night. The guards should open, the school guards should open the doors of shelters at schools. And we have daily and night guards at our schools. We also have vacancies, and also we have vacancies for teachers. Because when someone says there is the lack of teachers, we need to understand the teachers have also left the city or the country. And the same could be said about guards. Sometimes there are vacancies there, but there is a responsible person during the day that should open a shelter for people who are near schools. And the journalists have sent us a question. Nadezhda Markevich, Dumskaya.net. Our readers said that in Lyceum 78, the director collects money from parents to equip bomb shelters. The parents should not pay for the equipping bomb shelter. If you if you know this information, please contact our hotline. We will respond accordingly. Lyceum 78 has received the budget. There is now the new head there, the new director, and we do not pay anything there. The question from the same journalist: how you will solve the issue with the lack of manuals for the new school of Ukraine? I would like to pay attention to the fact that every department has its own responsibility. The manuals is there of responsibility of the Ministry of Education and Science in Kyiv. We are waiting for these manuals. We cannot print them. There is the public order, but there is an alternative electronic version of such manuals. They have been adjusted to different devices. If there is no alternative, we can use electronic e-manuals that have been published on the website of the Ministry of Education and Science, and we have also uploaded them to the website of our department. And if there is a need, sometimes we print separate pages from these manuals for children to be able to make their homeworks and exercises. Thank you very much for answering all our questions. Hopefully, we will be able to invite you soon for you to share better news. Thank you. That was the last briefing for today, as of today. But if we will be able to find someone who will provide more details about the consequences of the explosion at Kakhovka hydroelectric power station, we will publish this in our Telegram channel. Please stay tuned. Please come to us. You can also send us questions through different messengers and Telegram channel. Stay tuned.